What is going on, everybody? Josh here, Rise Above Health, and we are back today with another live stream, this time on the subject of low testosterone. So, what does that mean? How can you tell? And what are the possible outcomes of that? And how can you get that checked out and fixed? So, what we're going to do is just go over some lab work I had done. I don't know if anybody checked out a couple streams back. I got on a video with my friend Rob over at Success Rebellion. He's a personal trainer and high performance coach for entrepreneurs. And basically, we looked at my previous lab work, and we did not cover the testosterone portion. So I'm going to do that for you guys today, and we'll get into that. So before I get started, everybody that's joining, just drop a 1 in the chat for me so I know you guys are here and that you can hear the audio. That would be great. Awesome. All right. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. All right. All righty. So let's go ahead and get into it. And it's important to note before I start, you guys should note that the testosterone optimal and required levels for men and women are actually completely different. And that's for what should be fairly obvious reasons. And that is that women and men have different hormonal profiles and patterns. So men are much more androgenic, have higher levels of testosterone, and women are by and large estrogenic, so they have higher levels of estrogen, and those things lend themselves to, let's say, different performance and health outcomes. So let's say, obviously, if you have high levels of testosterone, you have a higher sex drive, it'll be much easier for you to put on and build muscle, versus if you're higher on the estrogen side of things, as women tend to be. They tend to live longer. That's one byproduct of having more estrogen in the body. It's cardio and neuroprotective, so can help increase lifespan, and growth of breast tissue, putting on weight in the right places, things like that. So I wouldn't be too surprised if it had positive effects, obviously, in the category of rearing or gestation of children. That probably has something to do there as well. So just give me a sec. I'm just going to pull up my labs, and then we'll get into it. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Just give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. Checkup. I have a lot of files, so you guys will have to forgive me, but here we go. So I'm going to start off with the official recommended ranges from Mount Sinai or Cedars-Sinai. It's a well-known hospital network. And generally speaking, this is, let's say, industry consensus, medical health industry consensus, insurance company consensus as to what makes up, let's say, normal levels. And then you and I will talk about optimal levels. So let me just share my screen here. I'm just going to cut the music down as well. All right. Cool. All right, sharing. Dope. All right. So testosterone testing, why the test is performed. So in men, if they have late puberty or early puberty, infertility, erectile dysfunction, low levels of sexual interest or thinning of the bones. And then for women, if they have acne or oily skin, their voices get deeper, their breasts get smaller. If they notice increased hair growth, increased size of the clitoris, or irregular/absent menstrual periods, or let's say androgenic alopecia, which is male pattern baldness, particularly if someone has high levels of testosterone, that will convert to DHT. The more testosterone you have, the more DHT you have, and that can actually cause hair loss. So if you notice that a lot of let's say really jacked guys tend to have less hair. It's because the androgenic environment that they've created increases that DHT, and that can cause some hair loss. So now for what we would consider normal results in the healthcare industry, typically speaking, this is measured in nanograms per deciliter or nanomoles per liter. I usually look at the nanograms per deciliter. That is the measure that I am most accustomed to. So for men, let's get rid of this. For men, there is a range, right? So when you what a reference range is when you get a test done, this is the range between the average of the population falls. So that's everyone, let's say ages, 18 to 80, right? So that's everyone. So everyone in that group, regardless of health status, will fall between a range of 300 to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. And that's the range, right? So let's say if you get 350, as you do a testosterone test as a man, you get 350, your doctor's going to say, well, you're within range and there's nothing for you to worry about, even though a total testosterone level of 350 is pretty much on par with, let's say, a 70-year-old man. So there's something to keep in mind with these reference ranges, right? It's not indicative of optimal or even ideal health conditions. So, and then for women, the industry reference range average consensus is 15 to 70 nanograms per deciliter. So obviously a fraction of what the men have. And that's for obvious reasons. Like I said, women tend to be, they're much more estrogenic by and large, and they don't need as much testosterone as men for their physiological function. Obviously that leads to, like I said, breasts and a lessened ability to build muscle. It's harder for women to build muscle like men do, to the degree that men do. And if they do get that big, they're usually using steroids or, androgenic PEDs, things like that. So those are the reference ranges that are provided by insurance companies in the healthcare industry. And it's not necessarily indicative of, let's say, optimal health in any way whatsoever. But that's the industry average. Now, I'm going to cover what's optimal in just a second. And then also I have to talk about how there are different measures of testosterone activity in the body. So you're looking at total quantity, which would be total testosterone. And then there's something called free testosterone, which is, a measure of how much testosterone is free, unbound in the serum, and is available for, is bioavailable for, let's say, androgenic activity, so binding to receptors. Let me just finish up this page here, and then I'll open up my labs and we'll talk about what's optimal. So abnormal results. So we're working within the context of this healthcare industry definition. If you have below 300 nanograms per deciliter as a man, you're considered hypogonadal, meaning you're not producing enough testosterone, and that's usually done in the testes. So hypogonadal, gonads. So decreased total testosterone may be due to chronic illness, the pituitary not producing normal amounts of some or all of its hormones, problems with the hypothalamus, low thyroid function, delayed puberties, testicular diseases, benign tumors. If you're too fat, also could be a problem in terms of producing testosterone. If you have obstructive sleep apnea, that could be another one. Chronic stress from too much exercise. And then things can go the other way. If you have, let's say, ovarian tumor or testicular cancer or congenital adrenal hyperplasia, which just means basically you have excess tissue growth on your adrenal glands. So also some supplements and medicines can lead to that as well. So that's the boilerplate, let's say, industry definition of what a normal testosterone range can be for both the genders. Also some possible causes of what can lead to, let's say, low hypogonadal and hypergonadal testosterone levels. So let me just pull up my labs and we'll take a quick look at that. And I'll talk about optimal ranges. So let's see, close current tab. Here we go. All right. Cool. Just give me a second. Testosterone. All right, here we go. So here we have my testosterone levels. I'm just going to highlight it so you guys can see. It's right here. So I have very important when you get your testosterone levels done, you get liquid chromatography mass spectrometry as the method of testing. It's a more sensitive version, and there's another version which I think is done by it's either immunoassay or electrophoresis. I can't quite remember, but so you want the liquid chromatography mass spectrometry. It's more accurate. There's less of a fluctuation and variation in the results. And when you get your test done by your doctor or if you order online, you want to go for LC/MS as the method. Now for, here we go. So I have my total T, and this was done at the beginning of June. I'm just going to zoom in a little more. There we go. So you can see here, testosterone. Here we go. Testosterone free and total. My total result, 684. Now, that's a pretty good level. What's considered optimal for men, let's say in their 20s through 40s through 50s, would be a range of, let's say, 500 to 900 nanograms per deciliter. So you want to be, if you're a young, healthy, virile guy, you want to be somewhere in the range of, let's say, 5 or 600 to 900. If you err more on the side of being very full of testosterone, or if you have a very androgenic setup, you might even be up to 1,000. So that's what I put as a range of optimal. And actually, as guys get older, they get into their 50s and 60s, assuming they don't already have low T, their testosterone production will decline with age. And so a lot of guys actually let's say a lot, but some people opt for testosterone replacement therapy, which can do great things in terms of mood and focus and clarity and energy and sleep for guys that are, let's say, over 40 or 50. So that can help you artificially get back up to that optimal range. And it really just comes down to how frequently you pin or use creams or pellets or whatever, pinning meaning injections. So that's that. Now, you want to try and make sure you're at least 500, I think. If you're below 400, something definitely needs to be checked out. So I'd recommend you make an appointment with your doctor, get a really good endocrinologist to take a look, and I think that's probably the best way to go. So you might need to, let's say you meet with a couple doctors and they say that, no, actually 300 is fine, 350, you're within the range, you're fine. It's not fine, and you need to do a little bit of investigating to figure out what's actually going on there. So find yourself a quality endocrinologist or an endocrine lab, something like American Health or, all of those. I'm trying to think of other ones. Something like American Health, et cetera. People that really know what they're talking about when it comes to hormone replacement therapy. Also diagnosing the potential pathology or pathogenesis of your low T. So like working out, like, is it this? Is it that? You want to see if you can get to the bottom of it and solve it before you go ahead and hop on replacement therapy. If you're below 400, you definitely need to get it looked at. If you're let's say in a range of 400 to 500, I think there's probably some, let's say, lifestyle things or dietary things you can do to increase those T levels even further. So you want to look at, are you getting good sleep? Do you have any food allergies that might be repressing your natural testosterone production? Do you have inflammation as well? That could be another thing. So for me, I actually used to be around 320, 350 when I first found out I had low T. And actually, to my knowledge, what it ended up being was I have a slight wheat allergy. Wheat, so things like breads and pastas and anything with wheat in it actually suppresses my natural testosterone production. So once I stopped eating wheat, I was able to see an increase in my natural testosterone production. So you guys would really be surprised that there's a lot of different things that can affect it. So anything from, like I said, sleep to diet to issues with your pituitary or your adrenals or your hypothalamus, any of those things, and your testes too. So it definitely warrants an investigation. Now, as far as the numbers go, obviously I'm at 684 here, which is quality. That's a good natural number. Obviously, it'd be nice if it'd be a little higher, but I'm not complaining about this. So now the other thing you need to keep in mind is, so that's the free testosterone. That's a measure of all the testosterone that's floating around in my blood right now. There's also something called free testosterone, which is testosterone that is not bound or is free floating, right? Not bound to any other or cells or chemical structures or anything like that. And that is a measure of what your body has available to perform tasks as needed. So you want to look out for the ratio. And so let's say you have, I have a 684 total and a free testosterone of 82. So that's over 10. That's over 10 to 1. That's like 1 to 8, I think. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really a math. I'm not a math guy off the top of my head. So, but you know, if I had something more like 684 total, but like 30 or 40 free, you know, that's a pretty big gap there in terms of what's freely available. So I might want to take a look at things like albumin, which is a type of blood cell, and testosterone can be bound to albumin for transport. And when it's bound to albumin, it's not available for your body to use. So, and the same goes for women as well. You know, you need to look at total and free testosterone. Obviously, for women, since I mean, you know, people talk about differences between these genders and the two genders, and you know, like 684, right? Women are supposed to have a let's say their reference range in the medical industry is 15 to 70. So that gives you an idea of just what a difference there is between men and women hormonally. So, you know, so their free testosterone, I imagine, would be pretty low. I don't know exactly what the ratio should be for women, but it's something to investigate. So, and then other things you can look at would include like E2, which is estradiol, and that's one of the active forms of estrogen. You want to take a look at that and compare to your testosterone, because there's kind of a balance there, right? They kind of they sort of operate opposing forces within the body to a degree, right? Let's see if I have. Here we go. So you can see here, actually, my estradiol is actually a tad bit high. So it's just over the reference range. Remember, it's a general population reference range. So I have a estradiol or E2 of 40, and the reference range is less than 39. However, I have a fairly high total testosterone. So, you know, this is like borderline, I would say. If I had a estradiol of, let's say, 60 or 70, that would be more concerning. You know, maybe there's some things I can do to optimize those ratios between the two hormone types, but you know, that could be supplements or you know, things like that. Maybe some lifestyle adjustments or maybe some dietary things. But you know, I'd say this isn't too bad. But you know, it really comes down to let's say the ratios. So. I will drop the medical standard for the ratios in the description of the video. I don't have it on hand right now. I just happen to know from looking at my own what would be considered optimal just by eyeballing it. So I'll drop those. So to get this test, like I was saying, so I've mentioned a few websites on this platform several times. So again, remember, you can go to walkinlab.com. So you go to Walk-In Lab and search testosterone. There you go. So there's testosterone, free and total, liquid chromatography, mass spectrometry. Here you go, right? So $62 here. If you want to get E2, you can do that as well. That's another $44. The sensitive version is $82. And I think your best bet will be on discountedlabs.com. I'm pretty sure they have a, let's see, total. They have a package deal here. Total is 36. Total and free, plus sex hormone binding globulin. I forgot about that. Sex hormone binding globulin is another potential binder of testosterone. So you have albumin and you have SHBG. So if you have low free testosterone, it's possible that you have high SHBG and or albumin. So you want to check those out as well. So, but you can see here, you've got total and free with lower and upper limit plus SHBG, or you have the equilibrium analysis here, $43. So, all in all, for the value, the information you're getting, it's not really all that much money, I don't think. You can get that maybe like every 6 months. If you have good results, you don't need to worry about it too much unless you are, like I said, on TRT or you're maybe doing not that I encourage this, but if you're doing PEDs or something like that, you want to be getting regular blood work and or let's see if you have some kind of medical condition. But if your numbers are good, you don't have low T, you can do it like every 6 months. If you have low T, you're going to want to, work with an endocrinologist and kind of experiment to work on first lifestyle changes. You're going to do hormone testing to see if there's something going on with one of your glands or structures in the body somewhere along the HPA, the hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis, your HPT axis. So you'll have to check out some hormones along the way, and your endocrinologist can help you with that. In those cases, you'll probably want to get more regular blood work, but these are the tests you want to get as a boilerplate baseline for figuring out, do I have low T? Am I optimal? Am I somewhere in between, et cetera, et cetera? So I know some people had some questions about how to figure that out. So I wanted to just hop on here and provide you guys with that information. Now, if you end up getting TRT or you're interested in doing TRT, you again have to make sure that you work with someone who's qualified and knows what they're doing to make sure you get the optimal pinning regimen, that you're not taking too much all in one go. You're not taking too little at a time. I think an optimal schedule would be something like 3 to 4 days a week, or let's say 3 or 4 plus. And you want to make sure you're getting nice, even doses of your testosterone at a clip so that you don't have giant peaks and crashes. And it's very unnatural for your body to experience that. So you want to replicate as close to as possible the natural diurnal rhythms of testosterone production. So, you get a nice crest and wave throughout the week instead of this, right? And even in Asia, I've heard, they'll do like once a month, like a giant load of testosterone, like a bolus dose of testosterone. So definitely not the way to go. So again, check out a qualified quality endocrinologist. Sometimes, and a lot of the time, you're better off going to online clinics that can do telehealth in these cases. Obviously, those places have their limitations because it's hard for them to diagnose. Let's say if you have a physical symptom, you need to make sure you get that checked out in person. But if you're just curious about your testosterone levels, definitely hook yourself up with an online clinic and go from there. So I'll drop names of a few clinics in the video description. I'm not quite remembering them right now. So, but anyway, so that's the video on low T, how to find out if you have it, and what to do about it if you do, and testing and all of that good stuff. So if you guys have any questions, please do feel free to hit me up in the comments. Hope you're having a great Sunday afternoon, and I appreciate you guys stopping by. It's Rise Above Health, and you can find me on Instagram, rise.above.health, TikTok, rise.above.health, and YouTube, all one word, Rise Above Health. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you add me as a friend and join the Facebook group. It's called Rise Above Health, Biohacking and Optimization for Busy Entrepreneurs. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.